The man who wrote this epic music was once labelled a musical fool by his colleagues. This man is Anton Bruckner, one of history's most monumental symphonic composers. Bruckner's music is an emotional odyssey, which perhaps draws from his own internal emotional desolation. His intimate melodies intertwine and escalate into some of the most chilling, apocalyptic soundscapes. The intensity and vastness of it are almost too complex to contemplate. Each note, each phrase is an exploration of the sheer force that music can carry, and is a quest for truth amidst the complex tapestry of layered emotions and expressions. Yet, however enlightening his music may be, Anton Bruckner was a misunderstood figure, both as a composer and a person. His peers harshly criticized him, and his eccentricities only fueled this criticism. But why, given all this, should you listen to his music? Born in 1826, Anton Bruckner spent the first 3 decades of his life in a village in Upper Austria. Initially trained to become a teacher, he secured his first significant appointment as principal organist of St. Florian. From there, his musical career began to take flight. By the time he secured his position as an organist in Linz, Bruckner had already made significant strides in his career as a church composer. His portfolio boasted hymns, choral motets, and a complete requiem mass. While these works remained firmly within the conservative church music tradition, they signaled the beginnings of a talent that would soon blossom. Linz wasn't just Bruckner's workplace. It was a city rich in musical experiences, waiting to be explored. Here, Bruckner encountered the works of various composers, but none left such a mighty impression as Beethoven. So profound was Beethoven's influence that Bruckner enrolled in a course on composition and counterpoint taught by Simon Sechter in Vienna from 1855 to 1861. In 1863, Bruckner encountered Wagner's breathtaking opera Tannhäuser. This masterpiece struck a chord, and Wagner joined Beethoven's ranks as one of Bruckner's most admired composers. 2 years later, Bruckner journeyed to Munich for the premiere of Tristan und Isolde, which for so many composers was a life-changing experience. But Bruckner wasn't just known for his musical prowess. His eccentric personality turned heads. He had obsessive tendencies, such as practicing the organ for 12-hour sessions, and he carried deep-seated religious beliefs. Bruckner had a compulsion to count things. He was obsessed with death. He had allegedly fingered and kissed the skulls of Beethoven and Schubert when their corpses were moved to Vienna's Central Cemetery. His romantic pursuits often raised eyebrows. He had a tendency to propose to teenage girls, believing that his prospective bride should be a virgin just as he was, in order for their marriage to be worthy in the eyes of God. And though he would often be told kindly, "But Herr Bruckner, you are too old," he would always accept this feedback, even if he was upset by it. This, coupled with his arduous work schedule, led to a 4-month nervous breakdown in 1867. Despite his quirks, Bruckner's academic excellence shone through. When applying for a teaching diploma from the Vienna Conservatory, his knowledge was so impressive that one of the panel members, conductor Joseph Herbeck, cried, "He should have examined us. If I knew 1/10 of what he knows, I would be happy." In 1867, in the wake of his mentor Sechter's death, Bruckner was invited to fill the vacant professorship at the Vienna Conservatory. He accepted and went on to earn a reputation as a highly respected professor. However, his heart was always with his music. Despite being more famous for his organ improvisations at the time, he never gave up on composing. In 1866, he completed his first symphony. But it was 6 years later, with the performance of his Mass in F minor in Vienna, that he truly made his mark. This success cemented his position as one of the most significant composers of his time, and also showed the world that Bruckner was a force to be reckoned with in the world of symphonic music. So why should we listen to Bruckner, and what makes him stand out as a composer? The hallmark of Bruckner's music is its grandiosity and expansiveness, dense orchestration and soaring melodies. His use of brass and percussion instruments creates a powerful and majestic sound that is exemplified by his 8th Symphony. Let's take the first movement, for example. The piece opens with a solemn, commanding introduction, with strings and brass in unison, setting a tone of grandeur that echoes throughout the work. As the symphony unfolds, it swells into a sweeping theme played by the strings, crescendoing into a powerful chorale theme that culminates in a dramatic climax of rich, full-bodied harmonies. This moment, a quintessential Brucknerian move, is often hailed as one of the most monumental in all classical music. Beyond his symphonies, Bruckner's choral works also showcase his impressive soundscapes. Take his Te Deum, a religious composition set to the hymn of praise and thanksgiving. Scored for soloists, a mixed choir, and large orchestra including an organ, this work alternates between introspective, prayerful sections and grandiose, celebratory ones, with the brass often taking the center stage. As one of Bruckner's most acclaimed choral works, it often graces the lineups of both religious ceremonies and concerts. Another striking aspect of his musical style is his deep incorporation of religious themes and imagery. Consider Bruckner's Mass in F minor. This piece, composed for choir and orchestra, is a testament to the range of emotional intensity and spiritual power that Bruckner could infuse into his music. The Benedictus features a soprano solo and reverberates with a profound sense of reverence and awe. Or take his motet, Ave Maria, composed for a cappella choir. Here we encounter Bruckner's signature rich harmonies, which evoke a tranquil, contemplative atmosphere. The piece beautifully conveys a sense of prayerful devotion, offering a direct glimpse into Bruckner's sincere piety, and it shows his knack for imbuing his music with spiritual depth. A devout Roman Catholic, Bruckner saw his music as an extension of his religious expression. Whether written for choir or orchestra, his pieces are characterized by this sense of awe and grandeur, and often evoke a sense of divine transcendence. Bruckner's music holds immense historical significance and forms an essential part of the Austro-German musical tradition. While Bruckner was certainly influenced by Wagner, one can see that Wagner was influenced by Bruckner in turn. Take Parsifal, for example, which is filled with Dresden chorales and transfiguration themes, certainly influenced by the chorales of Bruckner's symphonies. One could argue that what Wagner was to opera, Bruckner was to the symphony. Both shared a vision of the epic, monumental vastness and the transcendental power that music could convey. Bruckner's unique compositional style is easily recognized by his remarkable ability to craft intricate and diverse soundscapes. His orchestration frequently features a prominent brass section and a large group of strings producing tremolo effects, which add depth and nuance to his music. Long, sustained melodies build to climaxes. There are intricate harmonies and clever use of recurring motifs. All of these are hallmarks of his style. The first movement of his Fourth Symphony perfectly illustrates how Bruckner introduces a simple motif and then develops it. The movement opens with a horn motif that lingers in the air. This motif is then passed seamlessly to the woodwinds, creating an unbroken chain of the figure, all the while building to a dramatic climax. The movement culminates in another bold, monumental climax, driven by the recurring horn motif that has been building throughout the piece, contributing to its sense of coherence. Wait for it. There we go. The unparalleled tension and cathartic release of emotions is breathtaking. Meanwhile, the second movement of his Seventh Symphony is often referred to as the most solemn funeral music of the 19th century. This deeply sensitive theme was inspired by Bruckner's contemplation of Wagner's impending death. In fact, Wagner passed away while Bruckner was working on this movement. Bruckner also incorporated a quartet of Wagner tubas, further adding to the piece's somber yet majestic feel. Bruckner's Ninth Symphony, his final and unfinished work, is a deeply introspective and contemplative work. It stands as a towering monument of musical genius. Bruckner dedicated it to the beloved God. The first movement begins with hushed, shivering tremolo in the strings, which then builds to several climaxes, including a particularly powerful one near the end of the movement. The third movement is the emotional heart of the symphony. Beginning with a hauntingly beautiful theme in the violins, it builds to a tutti climax with a cathartic release of emotion. This movement epitomizes Bruckner's ability to create a profound sense of emotion in his music. The final movement was left incomplete. Bruckner was working on it even on the morning of his death day. Although he supposedly suggested using his Te Deum as the Ninth Symphony's finale, several attempts have been made to complete this symphony with a fourth movement based on Bruckner's surviving manuscripts. Bruckner died on October 11, 1896, in Vienna, after a period of illness believed to be pneumonia. He was laid to rest in St. Florian in Upper Austria, beneath the very organ where he had served as the cathedral organist for many years. Anton Bruckner's music represents a pinnacle in the Austro-Germanic musical tradition. His compositions exude a profound sense of spirituality and an unwavering commitment to musical craftsmanship. His symphonies in particular are manifestations of his extraordinary talent. They reflect his grandiose musical imagination and unparalleled ability to create sweeping, mellifluous soundscapes within complex, multi-movement structures. The intricate harmonies stir the soul and transport listeners to a realm of transcendence, leaving an indelible imprint on our hearts. As the renowned conductor and pianist Daniel Barenboim once said, "The more I conduct Bruckner, I think this is not architecture, this is an archaeological expedition." I feel every section is like going deeper and deeper under the earth. And then at the bottom, you are left with some incredible result of archaeological excavation. Do you want to improve your musicianship skills? Whether it's your ear training, your sight reading, or your writing skills, the Musician's Fast Track is your answer to quick and effective musical training. You can unlock all of this training completely for free by clicking the link below. Don't let your talent go to waste, and don't miss the joy of mastering your musicianship. Click the link below now and fast track your musical journey today.